Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So a few days ago, the junior doctors in the UK have decided to go on a national strike because the wages they've demanded for by the government isn't willing to actually negotiate and actually come to the terms set by the junior doctors, because they believe the wages that they're getting is nowhere near enough considering the amount of work they have to put in. I can agree with that. The wages compared to this country and to every other Western counterparts is actually disgraceful. That's why you see a lot of doctors actually going from this country to other countries like the United States, New Zealand, Australia. It's not a good market to be a doctor in this country. That's a good reason to fight for increased wages. But what do you think? Before we get into today's video, if you're new around there, subscribe to the channel. It will be massively appreciated. And also, if you like the content, drop a like. Let's get into it.
So we are going to talk now to Ross Nevo, the co-chair of the Resident Doctor Committee at the BMA. And we're listening carefully because I'm just trying to work out why you would want more.
Well, I think that's a very good question, and the answer to that is that we have now done a ballot for industrial action, and it has been successful. So the membership, we asked them a question: is this year's pay uplift sufficient progress to restoring our pay back to 2008 levels? And the answer to that was no. They feel that they'd
always say, I mean, everyone will say no when they're asked that question, won't they then?
So doctors don't want to strike, but doctors want to treat their patients. But we've been put in a situation where, compared to international comparators, we're paid maybe half or a third of what they are, where there's better weather and better working conditions.
And why did you become a doctor?
I became a doctor because I think it's an incredibly interesting career. I think I really enjoy helping patients.
Is that how you categorize it?
Like, when you take into consideration, right, these people right now, junior doctors, are what, £17 an hour. That's absolutely unacceptable. The requirements, the level of difficulty it takes to become a doctor, right? Right now, so many doctors, it's not even, it doesn't even make sense to be a doctor in this country, genuinely, considering the amount of money you can make right now overseas in other countries. It makes no sense. So many doctors are getting a degree in this country and then going to different countries to actually get a job, because it makes no sense at all to actually be a doctor in this country. You're always going to be underpaid, probably regardless on any level that you are, especially compared to the United States. It makes no sense at all. Everyone knows this. Like, it's actually like a known thing for doctors. They are actually very much aware that they are very much underpaid, but lots of people stick with it because they want to be in this country and also they love their job a lot. That's literally the only reason why they stay. It's not a lucrative career in this country at all, and it should be. Being a doctor should be a lucrative career, regardless of even if it's the first year or not. It should be a very, very good jumpstart when it comes to how much income you're on.
An interesting career. Can I take you on over the fatuous figures you guys, your union completely puts out? You say you've taken a 23% drop in salary since 2008. You know very well that the Institute of Fiscal Studies has completely debunked those figures, and they've said that you have calculated them on the retail price index instead of the consumer price index, which gives an entirely different figure.
Let him answer.
So you are misleading people.
Let him answer.
I don't think we're misleading people at all.
Yes, you are.
Our student loans, which resident doctors
Nothing to do with anything.
It actually is. Let me explain why. So resident doctors graduate from medical school with about £100,000 of debt.
Yep.
And the interest rate is on that student debt is calculated
That's
with
not
RPI.
her point.
So
Not
why?
my point.
So why is
I'm asking
RPI
you why
a
you are
reasonable
pumping
figure
out
for our
fake,
student loans, but not for our pay
You talking over me
increases?
is not going to satisfy the public. I've asked you
Jesus.
why your union, your very militant union, your very greedy union, are pumping out fake figures that the Institute of Fiscal Studies has completely debunked. Said you've calculated them on the wrong price index. Why are you doing that? Because you're trying to convince people you're all poor.
Well, let him answer.
So my question to you would be, why is RPI a suitable figure of inflation for the student loans but not for pay?
Ask the Institute of Fiscal Studies, who know more about figures than you or I do.
So what? That's it. She doesn't even try to understand what they're actually trying to say. She's just quoting them. She's just referencing them instead of like the what. That's it. You just read it and then you didn't even try and understand whether or not it actually makes sense. She's just quoting it. That's it. That's what she's doing.
You don't have an answer.
She doesn't have an answer.
You've obviously done it because you've chosen a figure that makes the
more
difference
sense
look
to you.
greater. I mean, that's, you can be honest about that.
I don't think so at all. So housing prices have skyrocketed. Student debt is massive.
For everyone,
Doctors
sir.
have options to go
For
to other
everyone.
countries
All
and
You
seek
guys
better
are-
wages.
hang on,
wait a
And
second, Carol. Let's
a doctor is
just
starting on £17 an hour, and what
That's-
we're asking for is
that
them
is
to
Get
go
that
to
for about 3
£23
months.
an hour.
Stop doing this.
Now,
All this nonsense about you earn the same as a barista. In your third year, you guys are earning nearly 60 grand. Let me tell you, and you know these figures as well as I do. When you work more than 37 and a half hours a week, you get time and a half. You get a special overtime allowance. You get time for working weekends. You can double whatever salary you're on with all of those payments. And I've checked all of these figures, and you can write them down as much as you like. But that is a fact of the matter.
Again,
you are
let
one
Ross
of the
answer. Ross, go on.
most highly paid public servants in this country.
So it's a shame. I don't know where you check these figures, but they're not quite accurate.
Oh, I
So
just make them
don't-
up.
Oh, that's a shame. So time and a half is inaccurate. We get about 30% extra on the night shifts that we have to endure.
Let him answer, Carol.
RPI is a suitable figure to use because it is used on the things that we have to pay for, on the inflation, on our student loans, and we're asking for a doctor starting on £17 an hour to be instead paid £23 an
For
hour.
about 3
And
months.
Even
Stop it.
if
3
that
months.
happened,
Jesus, let him
even if that
speak.
happened, they would still be paid less
Why did
than
you put-
physicians'
all right,
associates
if I can, Ross,
who are
why
their
did you-
assistants.
Why did you put out this barista figure saying that you're paid the same as a barista when it's just not an accurate comparison?
So that's not something that we put out for a few years now. So when we were paid at the start of the start of the
year.
campaign,
It wasn't accurate.
at the start of the campaign, when doctors were paid £14 an hour when they started, that was an accurate figure. We're not saying that anymore because it's no longer true
not
because
to
progress
compare
has been
doctors to
made.
baristas. Baristas do not have final salary pensions. They don't have the security. They don't have the pay scale. It's just a completely wrong comparison.
And we don't have
you
final
used
salary
it
pensions
again
either.
and again and again. So why would we trust your figures now?
So we don't have final salary figures, pensions either. So it is now an
You
average
have- you
salary
get double
figure.
the pension of
and
anyone
doctors are now
else from the
stuck
government.
at middle point 3 for many years because there's been a failure in workforce planning for a
I don't know why she keeps referencing pension. Well, guess what? Pension only comes to effect when you're done, when you actually stopped working. You want to go get a degree in school. You want to go get a high-level skill. You want to go build your human capital so that you can use it now. What's the point of going to school when you get the benefits when you're done, when you're 60 plus, 70 plus? It makes no sense. The best time that you enjoy being a doctor, when it's most lucrative, is when you're actually working. That it's for income, okay? I don't know why she keeps referencing pension. Pension means nothing if you don't actually have good enough income, okay? People that actually pay into pensions is cause they actually have enough income that actually comes in, then they have some for pension. It makes no sense to say that they have pension. Why are you referencing pension? It literally makes no sense at all.
long time.
Which
means that
Peter's quiet. Let me
we
bring
can-
in Peter.
we can
Do
talk-
you got some sympathy with them here,
No,
Peter?
I just want to ask one big question is it all young doctors? Because I know a lot of people in the medical profession. The older doctors are appalled at striking. They're appalled at the idea of striking. There are ways round it. You could mess with the paperwork, death duties, things like this. The public, I don't think the public are going to, sadly, support, because I love what you all do, but I don't think the public are going to
They
support
don't.
you
They've
now
lost huge
because
support.
financially they're all struggling, everyone's struggling, and they see doctors earning more money. But what I think is that the older doctors who went in it because they wanted to save
Well,
lives.
please let
And
Ross
so
answer.
do we. I came into this.
Every doctor generally wants to save life. This idea that, oh my God, you just want money, that's why, okay? Like, it totally makes no sense at all. Literally makes no sense. People that go on to take a medical degree generally want to do it. The amount of hard work it takes is because they have interest in it. It's such a retarded argument, genuinely.
Profession to save lives. I do think it's an interesting career. I think there are many parts of it that I love.
Why have you taken industrial action 11 times in the past few years?
So, because doctors are leaving, because the situation is
They're
no
leaving.
longer tenable.
So
These
going
older
to
doctors,
countries like
may-
Australia
these-
where you earn much
these
more
older
money
doctors
because
may.
it's not a-
Do you mind if I answer?
Yeah, go on. Let him
no,
answer,
question.
Carol.
So older doctors, they may be appalled by the idea of striking. They exist in a period before this massive pay erosion. We're now in a situation where, if people can't get into training, their options are stay here where they're treated badly paid badly, or go to somewhere like Australia where they're paid
Where it
2-3
has a private
times
health system.
and have be paid,
It
treated
has
much
a
better.
private health system in Australia.
Okay. We
understand that.
right, hang
Can I
on,
just
Ross.
ask him this?
Well,
This
go
is a
on.
really
Go on.
important
Limited
question,
number of
because one of
doctors.
your
Hang on, Ross. Sorry, don't just talk over her. Go on.
one of your members from your union said recently that you were all very excited about going on strike again. That was one of your members. Now, what you're excited about abandoning your patients? You're excited about
He can deny
terrifying
that.
people?
I mean, we don't know who said that.
It was a member of his union.
so you say.
If you give me enough time, I can find it because I have it in my
That
notes.
was actually me. And
Oh, it was you. It was you.
And I said that because doctors have the energy and they're energized, and they want to go out and they want to fight for improving paying conditions, and that's really important to
So
them,
you're
because they
excited
want a
about
reason.
terrifying sick
They
people.
want the opportunity to improve paying conditions here, so they
No.
can stay here and treat patients here rather than being
this is
forced
greed.
to-
So what does she say? She just say, okay, regardless of how much they pay, you just accept it because you have patients to treat. Like, is that actually the argument that you're making? There isn't actually a threshold that's actually good enough to actually ask for. As a doctor, by the way, we're not just talking a random profession here. We're talking a doctor's degree, okay? Most people are incapable of getting a doctor's degree. A doctor we're talking about here. When you take into consideration COVID, after COVID, the amount of pressure on the NHS, the amount of pressure to work overtime, to work in really bad environments, to work without adequate equipment, all these like difficult circumstances that's actually been totally put on all these doctors after COVID. You didn't are surprised that they're actually gonna ask continuously for a pay rise. It's absolutely crazy. This is a doctor we're talking about. This isn't just your average job, okay? Like, I don't.
You got it. You got a 22%.
I have colleagues.
Stop
Okay,
talking.
I'll let you speak.
This is a debate, okay? You got a 22%
Jesus
pay
Christ.
rise last
My
year.
God.
You've just been given 5.4%.
Yeah, now 22% pay rise, and now they're on £17 an hour. 17. Wow. After spending 3 years in school and an extra 4 years in med school, £17 an hour. Most people in trade jobs are making much more than that. Much more.
And you still want another 29%. That is unadulterated
But that's
greed.
not a question, Carol. That's just a statement.
But it's unadulterated.
The other thing
Look,
is
hang on,
it's not gonna affect
let me
and
just,
people are
Ross,
gonna-
you can, we've sort of, you come into, I know you won't take calls for some reason. I don't understand that. if I
Because
may
he
say
probably
so,
can't
but-
answer the question.
Well, you won't take phone calls from the public, is that right?
from my media team. But
From well, I don't know what the
Why
media
is
team have
that?
got to do with
Why
it.
is that? Are you frightened
What's
of the
her
public?
problem?
I'm not frightened at all.
Well, you're letting them down. Are you frightened to hear what they might have to say to you? Why don't you take some calls?
Do you
Forget
mind-
your
do
PR
you mind if I
people.
address your 5.4 figure? So
No,
the
sorry,
5.4
we've moved on from that. I'm sorry, we haven't got time for that.
Okay, I see.
Well, no, because we've had a long time on the numbers. I just want to make the broader point here. As you can hear, that both of them are seriously concerned about this strike action. There will be a lot of people among the public who don't like this at all.
If you ask me, if I have a doctor's degree, right, after spending so much years, so much hard work, I would never, ever want to be a doctor in this country. No way. Checking the figures, it's an offense how much doctors actually get paid there compared to United States, Australia. Now, you can take into consideration these are private healthcare systems. Yes, it is what it is. How much these people are getting paid is it's absurd. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. You always have to take into consideration how much work it takes to be a doctor. And also, since COVID, the pressure on doctors has been humongous. There just hasn't been the public sector that has received so much pressure compared to how they used to be before COVID-19. Generally, after COVID, everything just went worse. The equipment went worse. The routine went worse. How much time is actually available to not be at work went worse because they almost have to work overtime now. So to me, I totally support whatever ban or whatever action they want to take because it's totally unfair, in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts on the video. If you like the content, drop a like. It will be massively appreciated. And also, if you're new to this channel, subscribe.